sector, from the Ministry of Transport. And what we would like to do, the security people, they are keeping us safe. We wouldn't like to keep them anywhere for long. So when we start the press conference, we'll deal with the security people first. As a minister, and I'm appealing to even the other team to do that. So that the security people can clear when they go to clear, because there's a lot about that for them to do. So when they clear their area and they leave, then we can do our thing. But before then, we know that the period for the aspiration of the 100-day deliverables is almost at hand. We have 16 more days to go. And you members of the press are very eager to know what the outcome will be. Did they achieve what they say they will achieve? A say of flop? A say of failure? Those are the questions lingering on your mind. But what we want to say is we're confident about what we've done as a government. Hold your peace a little bit. We'll come to you fully, accounting for our stewardship after the period of the 100-day deliverable. But I can say this, be assured that it will not be anything that resembles failure. The Ministry of Information is preparing itself to bring the result to you in ways you've never seen before. We'll talk about it on the radio station. The end of it will mark the relaunch of the new Liberia newspaper, and it will catalog what has happened. We'll also launch what will then be a quarterly magazine, MICAT magazine. That magazine will also give account of what has happened within the 100 days. So just keep your peace a little bit. Some of the media people are reminding us. We read a couple of newspapers telling us about the timeline. We are conscious of the timeline and the fruits of our labor will show. I just wanted to say that. Secondly, I want to say the President's attention is being drawn to continuous media reporting as to what is happening at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. It is the thinking of the President that government ministries and agencies should be in harmony. The President expects that officials of government will work together because the mission is to deliver to the people. We cannot and will not deliver effectively to the people when we have reports of infighting and some of the things we are reading in different media outlets about the LDEA. That has caught the attention of the President. He will take seize of the matter, and whatever the situation is at the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency will be resolved very soon, because we don't have time for infighting. We have time to work, because we said to the people of Liberia that our country was in need of a rescue, and we said we came to rescue. We must uphold that commitment to the people. So anything that will serve as a distraction will not be countenanced. And it is our hope, now that the President is concerned about what is happening, he's taking seize of the matter, that we'll see some real harmony across government, particularly the LDEA, where we continue to get reports about infighting. We followed the mission director of USAID, Jim Wright, who expressed serious concern about how medications that are meant to be in our medical institutions are ending up in pharmacies because they've been sold. The government takes those very serious, those comments very seriously. Seriously in the sense that it's a good thing that USAID got some information. They brought this to the public glare, and we want to assure them that as a government, it is concerning if medications that have been donated to benefit our people are being sold and ending up in pharmacies as being reported, and we will do what is supposed to happen to curtail that. They also said it will be a good thing if we start to persecute people. And we will not fall short of that. If we find the evidences of those involved in such ugly acts, we just want to warn you that we're coming after you. If your goal is not to serve the public interest, but you want to use the public space for self-enrichment, you are miscalculating. And be aware that you could be held accountable very soon. And we thank the USAID head of mission for raising the red flag on this very critical issue. We want our health institutions to work again. All of you here who've gone to different medical institutions, you are aware that sometimes you don't have the resources. You go to the hospital and you expect to be treated. And all you get, so in most cases, slips to go to medical places to go buy medicine when you should be treated in the hospital. So if these are part of the reasons why these things are happening and they've been brought to the attention of the government, we will act, and we will act very, very decisively. The last thing I wanted to just talk about. We've been talking about accountability across the board. We inherited a ministry, like I said, that is an abandoned place. And I always have to be on the record to say I don't hold the leaders who are here responsible. Because in some cases, it was an intentional neglect from central government. So if you neglected someone, you didn't give them the support that they needed, and they don't perform, or the institution does not work, it's not your fault. But we've been doing a lot of revision. We are about to write the GSC, that we don't want to move into a blank check situation. We want audits here. The CSA has initiated a personnel audit across a number of ministries that will include the Ministry of Information. That is settled. But we are specifically asking the GAC to come here and do financial audits. And I know every time you talk about audits, somebody will say, we shouldn't. But we've been seeing some smoke screens. And those are reasons to insist that there must be audit. And I just want to give you a simple example. Currently, our budget is projected at 2.8 million. 2.1 will be personnel costs, left about 700,000. Obviously, you cannot run a ministry. This is 2024. But in 2022, which is 2 years ago, the ministry developed its own budget and said 4.1 million. That's what they developed. For some reasons, after the passage of the budget, the ministry had an approved budget of 6.2 million. Ministry of Information. In as much as I'm here crying for money, I'm not sure this ministry needs 6 million to function. There are key priorities of the country that we prioritize. Our information is important. 6 million? To do what? And then it says goods and services out of the 6 million. 3.8 million. What do we call goods and services? You sit in this very hall. If LEC goes up, down, you can't continue the press conference. You got no generator. None of the assistant and deputy ministers who work here with the last 6 years have cars. Only one vehicle owned by the minister proper, which I'm using. If you have 3.6 million for goods and services, and the ministry what it is, when you enter this place and look at the building from outside, doesn't look like a building that spent 3.something million on goods and services? So for all these are red flags. And because they are red flags, we insist that there will be comprehensive forensic financial audit to determine what took place. Having said that, let me invite the Inspector General of Police, Reverend Kuma, who will speak to you. All right.
Good afternoon to all.
Next is Inspector General of Police,
Mr. Minister, I want to thank you for the opportunity given us to use this platform to convey a message of importance in members of the press, the general public, officials of government here present. We want to take this time to just give you a brief update of some occurrences. I see the specific reference to 100 days achievement. That one area is always working because our job is so continuous that we hit the ground running and we continue to run just to ensure that the state remains safe and the region all go about our normal activities. We've been able over the last few months to significantly reduce violent crime in most parts of the country. We've been able to try to increase police presence around the country. We've strategized a lot of ways to have our structure more on an intel base, collecting the necessary intelligence and data to inform the deployment of our meager resources. We have been working on policies and procedures, looking at revision of our administrative instructions and regulations to include more gender-sensitive aspects of it. And there's been a lot of work behind the scenes engaging with international partners who we are getting some positive responses in connecting with us to be able to combat not just crimes here in Liberia, but transnational crime that affect other countries beyond our border. We are working with all other security agencies, looking at our vulnerability, the new resiliency of the state, to see how we can control our spillover risk factor to other part of the sub-region, and just ensuring that we increase security in the nation. I would like to speak to one or two issues that are out there. One has to do with the gruesome murder of Ms. Amanda Nebo, which then occurred on April 14th at about 12 midnight. That's a sad event that we don't wish for anyone. As part of our crime initiatives, I mean, this is something that is very disheartening. We consider it one of those issues that have to be aggressively pursued, and is being aggressively pursued as we speak. To date, we have arrested one of the key suspects in the murder who has admitted his involvement, and he has given us news of additional suspects who were involved, and the police are after them right now as we are ongoing with this exchange here. So hopefully within a day or two, we should have the rest of them in custody. But beyond that, we are really concerned about the occurrences of crime in that area. So we are reviewing measures to put in place to try to curtail the situation and to keep people safe. These measures are being reviewed by the operations department right now. They are looking at what is the most feasible, apart from just the command structure and the deployment of additional resources to that area. We're looking at measures that could also include some form of curfew for riders, because the target in that area is mainly motorcycles. 2 days ago, someone came to my office and informed us of what they had witnessed driving on the road. She was driving along the Somalia Drive around 11:30, and she saw these two motorcyclists with cutlasses going after another one who was running for his life. So they had to go after them with the vehicle and try to run them off the road, and that's how they were able to save that person. So the crime focus in that area is more motorcycle based. So we're looking at all of the measures to put in place to keep riders and the passengers safe as well, while we do more engagement in the community, more proactive engagement to further deter the criminals. So we've reinforced all of these hotspots. We've looked at the limited data we've been able to collect, and the data is giving us information as per the time and occurrence of the crime, and it's on that basis that these decisions that we're reviewing will be made within the next 24 hours. Whatever the outcome will be, we will communicate with the general public as to what measures will be put in place to be able to support this initiative for the reduction of crime and the safety of the citizenry. We would like to caution this, the vehicle registration. License plate issue is one of those things that we are actively enforcing right now. And the Minister of Transport will be speaking to you. I didn't even know he was on this stuff for the day, but he's here, so I will leave this part out. But we will be providing all of the necessary support for that enforcement as a joint collaborative effort in going after vehicles that are not registered. It's only responsible enough as part of people's safety campaign, as part of your responsibility, as part of the privilege you enjoy for using the road, that no one should have to run after you. It's only responsible enough that you go and register your vehicle. This is not something we should be begging you for, but we are here asking you to please do so, so that it limits the interferences with you and the police officer. If you have your vehicle registered, the stickers are there, you have your license plate, there's absolutely no reason why the police officer should stop you. And I know there have been cases where people say, oh yes, we have some time our vehicle registered, the police will still stop us. But sometimes challenge the process. Comply with them when they stop you. Take one step further. Reach to the professional center division. Let them show reason as to why they engage you. But sometimes, people just don't even want to go there, and they're there to work with the officers, and sometimes even encourage bribery. But we want to remind you, bribery is a two-way street. The giver and the receiver for our officers. It will also cover the giver as well. And if you're caught in that regard, you will be dealt with in accordance with the law. We've been holding a lot of stakeholder engagements at different levels with the communities, trying to build trust with the local communities and address issues of insecurities in different communities. We launched our community policing initiative on Sunday in Tototo County, commemorating the death from that December 26th accident, where safety tips were shared, additional information on the ongoing investigation that is not yet fully concluded, because we keep getting more information about it was revealed to us. So that particular community, they had their own concerns. We have immediately begun addressing the concerns of the community, and we are doing so with other communities who have got similar, not just the accident concern, but other security issues as well. We will be reaching out to schools, we'll be reaching out to churches, to mosques, at all levels of our community to connect with our people and be able to help build trust, which is one of those areas that we are seriously lacking. We've made some great efforts connecting with the international community at different levels, different governments. There's been some commitments for training, logistical support that we're looking into. We've begun to distribute uniforms with our officers in different areas, and we're looking at upgrading some systems, processes, and procedures that are not just part of our operations, but part of our interaction with the public. And that includes sorry, I lost it. It includes those services that people are always challenged about when they come to police station. And the main area there is the police clearance. I wanted to say it some other way, but I just decided to pull back because there's a lot of contention in that area. But I can assure you that we will clearly communicate to you what the cost will be and the new processes, because now we're trying to take it online to limit human interferences, which has caused a lot of the corruption around that process. Because people do not even know what the actual price is, and they go there, whoever they meet, you're able to pay whatever they charge, and then sometimes they don't even get it within the time frame that you're looking at. So as part of the update, we're now clearing a container at the Freeport which contains a complete computer database that will host our biometric collection, that we will be able to better match and reference people when we're giving you police clearances, and then to be able to better store data and collect information from suspects that come within the criminal justice system. Responding to concerns from communities along the highway coming from Bombing to Monrovia, the police have launched a serious operations in that area, with them monitoring the movement of vehicles and trucks. The concerns are more about trucks coming from the western cluster pulling iron ore into the port of Monrovia. Residents have been complaining about the excessive speed and the recklessness of the drivers. So the police have put up an observation for the last 3 days, and it has been proven. Last night we had involved in exactly reckless driving, misuse of lane, and reckless endangerment of the lives of other road users. Over 84 trucks that were counted by the police. Out of the 84, we were able to pick up 15, and we are now communicating with the Western cluster that they will have to send in the particulars of the rest of the trucks for ticketing. We've given them a ticket of $200 each, and we're now discussing with them safety measures to avoid future reoccurrences, because it's only a matter of time before we have a serious accident along that road that could claim the lives of a lot of citizens. So we are putting safety measures in place that will include escorting of the convoy through the city, and going forward, that every time they come to Fall River, we get a police escort from there that brings them to the port and takes them back all the time. So those details are being worked out, but for now, 84 trucks have been ticketed $200 across the board as the first warning signal to them, while we continue to discuss other safety protocols. The incident at Salem Depot on the airfield is still being investigated, and that is the incident involving the death in the police cell. The suspect was found hanging from the bar in the early morning hours of Sunday night. The investigation involves the suspects who were in the cell and all of the officers who were on duty. They've been turned over to the officers have been turned over to the Professional Standards Division to look into their own procedures as to how that depot is being managed, how that case was being investigated to arrive at the charge that even put that had that suspect under detention, and what actually happened in the cell. So when we get more information about that, we will come back and give you all additional briefings as per that investigation. As far as it relates to Kinjor, I announced the other day that has been completed. It's been forwarded to the Minister of Justice. We've recommended that since it's police officer involved shooting, the police have a civil oversight body, the Civilian Oversight Board, and we've asked that report be forwarded to the Civilian Oversight Board for further review, because they're independent. It's an independent body outside of the police, so that they can give it a second eye to verify. Because if we just come up with it, there will be a lot of contention. Say, oh, it's the same police officer investigating themselves. So we've subjected ourselves to the Civilian Oversight Board to give a final report on that incident. The criminal aspect of it is still being under investigation. We're waiting for B Mountain to come and fully represent it, give us a value of what was destroyed, and then we can continue from there. However, every opportunity I get, I continue to sympathize with the community for the loss of lives, and we're looking forward to working closely with them so as to lay to rest those who were involved in that fatal incident. I would like to rest here and take questions. Thank you.
All right, that was the voice of the Police Inspector General, Colonel Gregory Coleman. Next, on this podium is the
I want to say thank you to all of you for being here.
National Fire Service of Liberia.
So sorry, he's the head of the fire service, just in case you don't know.
All right. Liberia National Fire Service is responsible to make sure that we take measure for fire prevention and control. We are also responsible to make sure to inspect all public and private buildings to determine if there are hazard, if there is, to be able to eliminate that hazard through inspection. We are also to assist the Liberia National Police in terms of our action investigation. And we do a statistic of the fire outbreak and as a team calls and make report. So today, we are here to talk about two things because I have 5 minutes. There are 3 ways to fight fire: before, during, and after. Before is the fire prevention activity that has to do with going out there to inspect the premises, public and private building, to determine whether there's hazard, if there are, so we advise and what measure to take. After that, we also create awareness or providing education on the do's and don'ts of fire, also on housekeeping. How do you handle your appliances in the house? Because most of us, we buy a station call because you have 5 or 6 outlets, we plug everything on that one station call. It's like putting 10 bags of resin in your hair and you know you're not able to carry. So you have to be careful with the call, make sure you don't overload the extension cord, even the socket on the wall. So right now, the major challenge that we have is the electrical fire. It may interest you to note that from January to February, we have 41 fire. And 12 was class A, that is what we call combustible or common fire. 3 class B, what is we refer to as class flammable fire, and C, electrical fire 26. There was 11 deaths and 2 injuries. March, we have 11 fire outbreak, 4 class A, 1 class B, and 6 electrical. There was 51 occupants affected. In April, we have 7. We have 0 class A, 1 class B, and 3 class C. Another 3 were unknown. So today we come to let you know that we will soon be launching our fire prevention awareness. That will entail jingles. We're going to prepare jingles. We also want to do it in the vernacular so our people get to know that. We also do outreach in the community. We do talk show as we started today, Sunday morning. I've been on talk show from OK to Scar, and I'm here. All right? I'm going to do speaker as well. You see people out there in the community talking to people. This time around, we're not only going to focus on the public and private building, we want to go to homes. Talk to them to make sure you got your safety device. The fire extinguisher is a first aid tools. We want to go one step beyond, so you encourage our people to buy that smoke detector. So if you have a smoke detector in the room and there's fire somewhere and the smoke starts coming out, it will blow alarm to tell you that there's trouble in the house. So you now will identify that area and use your fire extinguisher, which is first aid tools. We also want to encourage people who can afford to buy the fire alarm. That one will blow louder if there's fire in the house or in the home. We want to also encourage our people as we start the vehicle inspection tomorrow. Please go to the fire department, get your fire extinguisher, and we'll certificate you. And once you have that certificate of your fire extinguisher, anywhere you go, you show it, and there's no trouble. All right? We want to also, the journalists, will be coming to you to help us with awareness. All right? Because we want to go out there to educate our people on how to use the fire extinguisher. I want to demonstrate that here just now. So all of you can see. The other day somebody told me they had a situation, just took the whole fire extinguisher and chunked in the fire. All right? And that is not so. The fire extinguisher is meant for you to use. All right? So we have been having a lot of fire extinguishers tour, not quite a month, but we are faced with the challenge, we are fighting it. So what we want to do, I think, is we create awareness. The fire occurrences will reduce. So we're talking a whole lot, talking to the community. So, and another thing we want to do is we'll go after compliance. We have a compliance team. When we do the losses, when we do the inspection, after 21 days, we'll go back to follow up. If you refuse to comply with the report given you, we go using the LRA, maybe the police will go and lock the premises or they can comply. So we have a group called the compliance division. I'll be going after that. So we want to demonstrate this small. This is a first aid tools. Now when the fire blaze in, finish touching the roof or the ceiling, then you go to use it. No. It's a first aid tool inside in the corner, they use it. Now if you see here, you see the safety things. The victim will put up here and therapy is a mistakenly you make mistake and press the notch, the trigger, and it will let go. So we put a safety pin on it. So you have a situation, all you need to do is move the safety pin, point this nozzle to the where the fire is and press this, and you hear boom, 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 and it will extinguish the fire. Also, you may trust to know that this fire extinguisher is a multi-purpose fire extinguisher. You see class A, class B, class C, so you can use it under the fire. So please, as we start the inspection, please get your fire extinguisher and carry the message on the use of the fire extinguisher. So also during the awareness, we're going to provide more of these. So even when we're doing we'll be putting out advertisement for those who want to input fire equipment, like the fire extinguisher, the smoke detector, and fire alarm. So when we conclude that, whoever going to be selling will have an officer posted there. So when you go there, before you carry a fire extinguisher, they will educate you on how to use it. All right? And point number 2 says we should talk about the fire at the speaker house. That fire was serious. We got a call and we responded in 35 minutes. And today we went there with the first responder. We saw the truck there. And what people don't understand about firefighting is that if you are fighting about you force or you to defeat you. So the pump on the fire truck releases pressure to pump the water to fight the fire. So in 30 minutes, if you have 1,000 gallons of water, in 30 minutes time you discharge it. So there must be a backup. You see the second truck came to refill that truck to continue fighting the fire. All right? So today we were there, people say, oh, the children were confused, the firefighters were confused. Now, you got your camera, you go to cover a story, and then the camera give up. What will you do? You get confused, right? So the guy wondered whether they were calling here and there, so I would get back up to bring water. And later on, got the backup, and the guy saw using the monitor. All right? And we're able to extinguish that fire. Today, the story is there. So the fire, according to the first information, started from the theater, from a spark that occurred in our area. But we are digging deeper to get the detail. Thank you. So what we're going to do, like I said, we have security for the very basic. We're not going to take a lot of questions. Maybe you have 4 questions and ask questions for both.
So next is the question and answer period. You just heard the voice of the which is the executive director of the Liberia National Fire Service, Mr. Salif Tyler, and gave his own vivid analysis. You even saw him display. So I think next is the issue of the question and answer period. So the question period will go directly to Colonel Gregory Coleman, Inspector General, Liberia National Police.
All right. I'm here with my editor, official, my Fox, yeah. My chief of public affairs, you there. So we are so we have whatever. So yeah, every attendant. What kind of public affairs, right? Okay, fire police. We have a fire police before we go to fire safety. We have a people to protect. But there's that very short that who made the fire truck here to come to fire. So we have you guys even doing inspection, right? We kind of compliance. Guys look at it, they got in the street, want to get it out there. Correct.
Thank you. I think the question.
Adi is the total number of full questions in Isua directed. This is the
Good afternoon, my name is Oya Aftere. I work
It's a
for the State Ministry of the Union. One question for
So my question first goes to fire boss. Being the head of the fire service, I know you have some expertise there. I want to know, under your administration, there have been the increase of fire incident in Liberia has been on an alert. So I want to know what really causing it, your expertise, so that people can know before you can start your wedding. The question is, what really causing the increase of the fire before you start? And I often are on grocery the issue of snatching of phone due to the fluctuation of the LC, like rents, especially women have been, marginalized, their bags and other things. Are you taking in such direction to help them because the police are not often around? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Maurice Oletini and I report for OPFM. My first question goes to the fire service boss. Thank you so much for your deliberation. I first want to know because last year the past government they were taking gas sellers along the street while they were playing, most especially in the communities. And also, can you tell us how much you sell this fire extinguisher? My second question goes to the police inspector general. Thank you so much for your deliberation. Last year we witnessed both of our brothers who graduated from the police academy. We see a lot of them in the city. What are you doing? And you're deploying some of them in the leeward counties, like for example, Sino County and Liberia. So yes, so those are my concerns. Thank you.
last question. My name is Maki Estre. I'm from the newspaper. My question goes to the IG. IG, I want to know how far the case at the Cowboy New Jersey involving the LNP and one of the officers came in line of one to see for back. Thank you. I think you can respond.
Okay, so the first one is the motorcycle regulation and no-go zone enforcement. So, like I mentioned on the platform that the journalist referenced, that our approach to law enforcement is a little different because of changing times. And we're moving more from force to service, using alternative measures based on where we find ourselves and the current state of affairs of our nation. So we're looking more at all of community approach, consensus building, and more of community-oriented policing. This enforcement regulation with motorcyclists and the tricyclists is something that I personally do not want to single them out, because the safety issue is not just about them. And since you have specifically asked about them, I will go ahead and speak directly to it. But before doing so, let me reference the fact that safety in this country is a very serious challenge for all road users, from the pedestrians to those driving vehicles. I think we even heard the engagement with those truck drivers on the Bombing Highway. So it is a very serious issue that we are concerned about. There is a lack of a culture of safety here in Liberia, and we all must hold together. We all must be willing to learn in areas that we are not aware of, to be able to start to create this culture of safety. So we've been able to engage with the motorcyclists and the tricyclists, bringing them together. Like I said, consensus building. We'll be able to show them other countries around the sub-region how their counterparts operate in those areas. And we've given them a chance for us to sit down and dialogue as to how best they think from a safety perspective we can operate here in Liberia. We've agreed on areas where we will be cut-off points. We have decided that from LNP junction straight to the Freeport, there's going to be absolutely a no-go zone. There are other areas that the deputy and the present public affairs people will directly speak to as to where all of those cut-off points are. But they've been able to sit down and agree. There are some areas we asked that we wanted to include. They gave reasons why they thought, even with the safety measures we're putting in place, and then remaining in those areas, will create a balance, and we'll be able to sign an MOU. Sensitization is ongoing, and enforcement for the no-go zone begins on the 15th of May. However, it has not limited us from enforcing the other safety regulation, like the issue of the helmet, the issue of their safety gears for riding, and registration and insurance for those motorcycles. So it's all set. May 15, the direct enforcement begins. And they've been quite cooperative, so I hope that as we continue to send the message, all of the members will adhere to it, because they even put themselves together with their own regulatory body as well, that's even going to be helping the police so as to limit any kind of violent interaction. And this message goes out to the general public. When the announcement is made for those cut-off points, we're asking people, the citizenry, to please abide by it. Because if you do not get on that bike as a passenger, he's not going to go in that area. So it's on you as well. You can't come and be complaining that, oh, there's no regulation, you're still getting on the bikes to go into the no-go zone. So we're asking for your support as well, that please, when these areas are announced, when the curfew is announced as well, if the operations review and deem it necessary to impose that curfew in those areas that are having high crimes, that you please cooperate with the police. The snatching of phones on Broad Street, specifically due to fluctuation of LEC, I think that's what you mentioned, right. LEC fluctuation. Right. So you see, when you talk about safety, there are different components of safety. Safety is not just the absence of crime, it's the availability of the necessary support structure that makes a community a community. Basic social services, like having areas well lit, so that people can be able to move during hours of darkness, so that even the police, if they were there, can be able to easily see to detect crime. But we're the tough-skinned one who take the full responsibility that even in the lack of these things, it's solely on us. However, like I said earlier, we have been reviewing staff, we've been making strategic deployments. I know in these areas that we've had these issues, there's been a lot of intel people deployed there. What we have not been able to effectively do is to clearly communicate on a daily basis all of the arrests that have been made in these areas as a result of plainclothes officers being embedded in these communities. The only thing that is able to make its way very, very fast is bad news, while the truth is being psychedelic and taking its time to get things going. Bad news already know. But we've made some significant gains in these high crime areas. There's been massive arrests for plainclothes officers, and there are further measures put in place to increase safety and security to all the areas that we've been receiving reports of high crime. The deployment of class 45 and 46. The guy there must be from the southeast because he made a specific reference to some of those areas that he wants to see them deploy. However, he's not wrong, because those are areas that were seriously challenged in having the necessary presence of law enforcement officers. But it's my understanding that these classes, as part of the vetting process, a lot of them were brought from the reward. So we should be going back and deploying them. However, since the restructure and reform of the Liberia National Police, the training of basic police training has been for 6 months. These officers have received 3 months of training. So we're looking for additional funding to see if we can run them 1 more month. However, we deploy them in the field that just in case the funding is not there, so that they can have proper guidance to have that field experience to be able to compensate for the lost month in the academy before they are deployed. So yes, they are around. We even started yesterday. I think we did the first test for extension of the field service. Total, I think there's 5 or 6 of them that were deployed yesterday in Bon County to Toronto in response to low presence in our area. So as we continue to monitor their performances, and we are satisfied that they've been able to pick up what was missing from the time in the academy, then we will start to deploy them into those areas that we have considered for immediate deployment. The Carwell, New Georgia incident. The speaker, are you referencing the LEC task force enforcement issue? Yes. Okay, so that issue was concluded. There were 3 members of the task force charged and forwarded to court, including 1 police officer, and charged. I think we communicated it on several outlets, but like I said, there is a need for us to review our information dissemination process, and that's why we're making the best use of this platform that covers a wider range to be able to get our message out. But yes, it was concluded. All of those involved were forwarded to court on the charge of manslaughter.
Before the fire service answer, just to do justice, because security is a very serious issue. So we'll take just 2 more from the code, 1 line. 2 more questions. Short question.
Thank you.
Hurry up.
Thank you, Respected General. My name is Strogon Florence, and I report for Strogon FM TV. When there's a new sheriff in town, there's a tendency that he or she announces new rules and regulations. And you did that recently when you announced that you are going to reopen some of those unexplained cases. How far are we with some of those cases, and like the auditors, the cache of arms, ammunition, and all of that?
Last person.
What do you remember for?
Thank you, sir.
Your question? There goes my knowledge.
Thank you so much. So my name is George Momo, and I report for History Liberia. So, Mr. Aji, in past time, I did a research, and there is this app on Play Store. There is this app on Play Store called Fund Officer. So you download the app, it's on your phone. In case you encounter a police officer, because they have to do with the issue of impersonation, all you need is the officer ID, place it in there, and it brings the officer database. But the last time I checked, that ad is nowhere to be found. And so I'm bringing this to your attention. It's important. The question is, how you intend, if I had to stay around you, you are aware of it, how you intend to create awareness so that the public is aware, so that the issue of impersonation can be handled. Thank you.
So, sir, the question for you, answer that.
Okay, so the poll cases update on investigations that we decided to reopen. And here is it. We work for the people. We are the people. We are from amongst the people. We work for the people. We're answerable to the people. So if the Liberian people whose taxes from their hard-earned money pay us have got some concerns, it's only fair enough that we answer. And the reason why we made a decision to look into some of these cases from yesterday is because it borders on the integrity of the institution. It's not just about being a new sheriff trying to set up new rules or trying to feel like you're better than whoever was there in the past. If we're trying to build trust and legitimacy, it's only fair that we address some of those things that help diminish the trust and legitimacy of the Liberia National Police. And some of these investigations that you're referencing, that the public have been crying about, these are the very things that made people just not to trust the police again. So it's only fair that we look into them. We're not saying that the people are right. The people may just not be informed. There may be nothing in those cases. The previous investigation may be on the dollar. But it's our responsibility to satisfy the concerns of the people and look into it, see if there's anything that may have been missed, and then get a proper closure of some of those issues. So we've sent a lot of messages out for people to come in with information on any of those cases, and we've been able to successfully conclude the firearm case, the one with the import of the illegal import of firearms in Monrovia that made a big news around here. We've been able to charge 3 persons, one in absentia, because he's in the U.S., and we forwarded them to court. There are officers as well who were assisting in the investigation because they were part of the operation. But as the investigation progressed, these officers were somehow implicated in the investigation. So immediately, following our own policies and procedures, they were interdicted, turned over to the professional standards, so that the professional standards can review all of their activities, their role play in the exercise of their duties during that particular process. And then if criminality is established, because the reason why, in the first case, the criminal investigators noted a red flag, but our process has to go through the professional standard. So definitely, as soon as the professional standard conclude their investigation, there are going to be officers who will also be charged, not as a part of the importation of the illegal weapon, but for wrongful acts as police officers carried out on the scene during the exercise of their investigative duties. Because members of the community are complaining of things that they saw, things that they witnessed that were not part of the weapons. We want to look for weapons. We didn't go to look for water heater, we didn't go to look for water pump, and a lot of other things. So there are claims and counterclaims that during this operation, the home of the suspect was looted. So that part is being investigated, and if criminality is established, those officers will be filed in court and will inform you all. And that will bring a full closure to this particular matter. But that's where we are with the first one that we have been able to complete. We are looking into every last case that caused some level of alarm here. I think the next one that's picking up a little bit of a steam, and we're not saying that anything is wrong, but there's just a lot of contradictions that speak to some red flag, and it has to do with the death of Melvin Early. If you all remember the EPS officer whose death was allegedly a suicide, that we're looking into. We've been able to see 3 contradictory reports within the police. So we're just digging deeper to see if there's anything that may have been missed in that investigation. Hear me well. I'm not making any assertions that this was not a suicide I'm saying there's a red flag that we just need to look into further to be able to substantiate what is being reported there. The firing officer app, coincidentally, I just got a message from the developer of the app this morning. We've been communicating. We haven't had a meeting in such a while, and he just requested a meeting today. I know we've been able to make the proper representation because Google took it down from the Play Store since it was bearing the name of Liberia National Police, and it did not have any authentication from the Liberia National Police. So we wrote Google and asked and gave the full authorization that the app be placed back in the Play Store. So when we meet, I'm sure he's going to give me an update on where we are with the app. Again, we'll make a further announcement. It's not just the app, there's also a project as well with the crash database where, accidents can be reported in similar manner so as to collect the necessary data on accidents around the country. Thank you.
All right. Let me start with this. We are talking about safety, right? The people that have in Toronto will be meeting with the Tanker Association to have a meeting with them to make sure that they play safe in transporting the flammable substance. They want to play that. The question how to do the how to sell in the street. Yeah, commonly connect can walk. We'll be working with the police. We just the RG myself talk this morning to see how we can work on it to get the people out. But you need to understand this is something we have been doing for years. So we want to call in the leadership of the to have this meeting to tell them why we want them to leave the streets. And after that, they and our public affairs people will go and do their awareness before we start the inspection and go back to the streets. Somebody asked why the cause initially fire outbreak comes about through ignorance, carelessness, and mistake. All right? So you are listening to the statistics that I read. Right? Some of these fire are the result of what? Electricity, some are the result of what? Candle, some mosquito coil, and your liquid. So these are some responsible for the fire outbreak in Liberia. Somebody asked, my deputy spoke on C11 he said, Liberia. And when I hear the money that I got to fire, the question was to jumpstart this year. How much do we need? All right? And I said, this year budget will put in for 5 fire trucks, 5 tankers to serve as backup. We'll put in communication, we'll put in uniform, other office equipment, and stationaries. Right? So that's what I said. So the operations spoke in the entire country. But the question was, to jumpstart, how much do you need? That I said 500. So we clear. All right? Full question.
Yeah, once you're done, you're done.
Thank you.
So, President Waka made a pronouncement during a annual message about training up to 10,000 youths in digital skill. Mr. Abdullah Kamara is an experienced expert on the matter, and we have invited him to give us some updates on what the project is and what is the progress so far. Mr. Kamara.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Minister. First, so early this year, during his annual message, the president made a promise to train up to 10,000 youths in digital skills within the first 6 months of its administration. So we are well on course and I'm here today to give you some feedback. So the first thing is, most of our young people have these phones, but the only thing they do with it is Facebooking, that's it, Instagram. So we wanted to create an opportunity for young people to be able to utilize these devices for more economic and other social gains for themselves. So the objective in the first place is to promote the use of digital technologies to facilitate tech education. So most of the training institutions will be involved, and to also empower tech entrepreneurs. So part of the program is after the training exercises, there will be competition for some seed money that will be given to the let's say successful ideas, business ideas that will be brought forward and well vetted. The companies or the individuals that will have a great idea will be provided small seed money to go and do their online business. So, this is more than just a training for 2 weeks. We'll also be engaging through media, so there'll be talk shows, there'll be specific programs about how to use these various digital platforms for e-commerce, for e-marketing, electronic payments, and so forth, because these are things that drive the economy. We'll also do some training throughout the country, so it's not only in Montserrat. The 10,000 students youth will be recruited throughout Nigeria. As a matter of fact, we already have opened the registration site where people can do their registration currently. Today, the Ministry of Education, which is now the lead, along with the Ministry of Youth and Sport, convene a meeting where we'll be present to approve the launch date for the program. So even though we have all the curriculum and everything ready, the president will be the one to officially start the project so we can commence. Currently, we have almost 8,000 people that have registered online. The line is still open. We are working with PLA, I think several other youth groups, Yono, PLA, Linsu, and others that will be working along to make sure their members can benefit from this process. So maybe later on you guys can inform the public about this program. The official launch is being planned, hopefully at the end of this week or the early part of next week. It will be officially launched by the president of the republic, so we can start to do this training for once. So I would like to thank you. I think that's pretty much the long and short of it. So we are well on board. Plans is already set. Will be launched hopefully by this weekend or early next week by the president and the training will commence thereafter. I think from the online registration, we see that I would say usually they call it the economic corridor and also Rado, Magidi, Basso, Nimba, they have a lot of people that have registered, and we branch out to the southeast and not so many, so we encourage you people to get a message out there because we want to make sure that the training is offered throughout the country so that they see money as well that will come to the people that will have brilliant ideas and use of hope. It can be fairly and equally shared throughout the country. Thank you very much.
So when you go to a program where the president is the national problem, not because he's the smallest man in the world,
in a female. You don't bring the president of the body, you know, behind the car. So it was on that purpose we kept the me, the Honorable Minister of Transport, Minister Sally Tyler, who now will have more time, relax, no rushing, nobody being like, hey, we gotta go. Take his time to make a presentation and you will have the opportunity to have it. So, Minister.
So he's the Minister of Transport. Matter of fact, is the last guest for today regular press briefing here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism.
Information Minister, the Honorable Jeremiah, officials of government here, distinguished members of the Folk Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I will be remiss and spineless
Many people think it's just driver license and car registration, but we are more than that. We are way, way bigger than that. The Ministry of Transport was created by an act of the legislature in 1987. McLeod Dapo became the first minister because previously it was attached to the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Transportation, but because of the humongous task, President Doe in his wisdom separated the ministry. The ministry has two divisions. There are about 21 plus directors that head divisions. So that's us, that's our little organigram. So upon our confirmation and subsequent appointment as Minister of Transport, we have been working tirelessly to address some of the challenges that require immediate intervention. We inherited an institution that was involved with systematic malfunctions, mismanagement of human resource management system, payroll fraud, insufficient logistics and office tools, unaccountability of the ministry asset registry, constant and most of the time interrupted power supply, the unavailability of internet connectivity sometimes, the underutilization of professional and unconducive work environment coupled with two major fire disasters that we had in the last 6 years. And all of these affected the Ministry of Transport at some extent. To adequately install quick intervention when necessary, we have immediately developed the Ministry 100 Days Plan in line with His Excellency Joseph Nyima Boakai plan for the transformation and the development of the country under the arrest agenda. The quick impact interventions are meant to provide the needed remedy to challenges that will be some impediments in executing the institutional statutory mandates and core functions to address its short, medium, and long-term development goals, contributing to social, economic development and growth. The overall objective of the 100 Days deliverable is to improve and modernize an efficient organizational capacity, human resource, and operational management system of the ministry. On top of this, we will be talking about our incoming inspections and what we have done in the sector so far. From there, we'll take some questions. So one of the 100-day deliverable we had was to review all contracts. And as at current, we sent through a third-party legal firm to review all of our contracts, especially the contract that was signed between 2018 to 2023, and we're waiting for those reports to come out, and they should be out in a week's time. We have commenced to some extent the renovation of the transport ministry, day by day, flow by flow, until we can complete it. With the IAA, is in the process of auditing the automated vehicle and driver lesson system. We have completed the asset verification. All of our assets, we have 2 generators and one that is salvaged, and we have about 15 vehicles in our fleet, although most of them are inoperable. We have conducted with the IAA a review of human resources management payroll audit. So what that showed to us, we have uncovered that 9 names on the payroll were no longer employed at the Ministry of Transport. We've taken those actions. It was established that some of those 9 people have passed away, and 4 persons have tendered their resignations, but they were still on the payroll for the last few months. We have completed a successful headcount with CSA, counting our people physically, and we have completed that process completely. Again, we have conducted minor renovations. We move all the ministers up, and the floor downstairs will start the minor work to complete those in the nearest, soon as possible time. We have resumed the normal service deliverable to our people, which is driver license, vehicle registration, eligibility, and support in terms of insurance services. We place high on our priority internet connectivity, and as it stands, our internet has been fully restored. So let me tell you a little bit about our system. Our system is a 3-phone system. So if you come to the Ministry of Transport, you need the enhancement piece of the Ministry of Transport. So from January 2nd up to the end of last month, year to date, the Ministry of Transport has raised over $2.4 billion to the national coffers. That's just the first quarter, which constituted a 34% growth. Okay, when I mean 34% growth, I mean growth we're comparing from January, February to March, month on month. And the main driver of that growth, we've had a 132% growth in insurance stickers. For the registration process, we've had about 36% growth in the revenue of the registration of motorbikes and motorcycles. So, analysis of the first quarter of 2023 versus the first quarter of 2024 shows that we've had a 15% increase in revenue. So we've improved over the time being. By the way, after this interview, we have those data that we will share to the press if you need some. And as you can see, most of the drivers, besides the motorcycles, is the insurance policies that His Excellency Joseph Mwanga instructed us to put forth, and we have done that successfully. And now you see at the Ministry of Transport, before anything goes through our system, it must be insured, because insurance mitigates risks, and risk is about safety, and safety, as the IG says, is the first priority of our president. So we have a little bit of decentralization that we're working on. We have we have the Kakata Service Center, and we have the ministerial complex. At the ministerial complex, we have a little mini site there that you can go, and those services are there as well. So inspections. Tomorrow, the Ministry of Transport will begin its full 21-day exercise of inspections. When I conclude my little talk, I will have the Director of Inspectorate to say a few words on that. So in 21 days, tomorrow for 21 days, we'll be inspecting 215 subdivisions in the country, and that inspection includes inspections at all concession sites, inspections through Monrovia for vehicles, motorbikes, tricycles, and the rest. And one of the inspections will be when we're seeing that there is ubiquity and inundation in government plates all over the place, and we're trying to stop that. For a vehicle to have a government assigned plates, you will see that it must have the GSA emblem. For many vehicles, you see those plates there will be taking them off. Those vehicles are not marked with GSA signs. And it's our plan to the entire government structure, with the approval of the president, will be changing all of those plates. When I mean that, I mean the design of the judiciary plates will be changed. The design of the old series which the car ministers drive and other officials will be changed. The design of the legislature will be changed, and because we have members of the 54th and 53rd that no plates are around, trying to get them off the streets. This time around, the plates will actually bear the name 55th legislature, and because of what happened in the past, we've done a policy now that every time there is a change of the legislature, there will be the numbering of that legislature assigned to the incoming ones, so we can have any issues. Also, there are guest plates around. Guest plates should be issued by two organizations, the CSA and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We'll be taking the old ones off the street and redesigning, and those entities will have the new ones to give to the appropriate people that deserve them. That should conclude the enforcement exercise. But please, our appeal to you, public, members of the press, religious leaders, is to inform your people that vehicle registration and vehicle insurance is a public safety issue and it's a Catholic issue, because it's about safety. So when our streets are not safe, I mean, it's not good for us. When our vehicles are not insured, when people get hurt, I mean, there's no amount to treat the wounded or to take care of the necessary destruction if needs be to buildings, to homes, and to even businesses alike. So let me just tell you what we've done throughout the sector since we came. For the aviation side, we have procured a fire truck at the Rivers International Airport. The commissioning has been in the process of bringing two more to the country, because our airport is at level 6 now, and we intend to take it to a level 10 plus, wherein we can invite bigger airlines and other people to come in to serve our people in terms of the aeronautic transportation. At the National Transit Authority, for the last few years there was about 45 buses, but now only 5 is operational. And the complex of that institution was gutted by fire, and it's totally inoperable at this point. The team they are sitting, they have a makeshift location where they sit. The government has